What's good? What's good? It's the one, the only, but what do I know? Boxing, man. Back at you with another one. Today, I gotta talk about the sad case of Demetrius Andrade, man. Um, listen. So I got one of my homeboys. He's not a diehard boxing fan or anything like that, but he does follow the sport. And a long time ago, I remember like in 2016, I want to say, he was talking about how he felt like Demetrius Andrade had a bright future ahead of him. Well, just this weekend, he hit me up, man, and he asked me, like, bro, what went wrong for Demetrius Andrade? What went wrong for him? Why is Demetrius Andrade not the fighter that I expected him to be? And the truth is, man, Demetrius Andrade made a lot of bad business decisions. I have a close friend that I'm not going to say his name, but he's signed with Mayweather, and he told me that well, for one, I don't know, if you guys don't know, a lot of people talk about how Demetrius Andrade is calling out the Charlos, but he was actually scheduled to fight. I remember this too. He was actually scheduled to fight Jermell Charlo December 4th. I don't know about December 14th, but I know it was December 2014. It was December 2014. He was scheduled to fight Jermell Charlo. They had signed a contract. Everything was supposed to go about. Well, a week before the fight, or 2 weeks, it was somewhere close within the fight, around fight time, Demetrius Andrade at that time he was signed with Roc Nation. Now, for y'all that don't know, Roc Nation already, Jay-Z doesn't have a good relationship with Al Haymon. They don't really get along. Something due to Beyonce's father. And it's a long story with that. Anyways, so Demetrius Andrade was signed with Roc Nation. At that time, Roc Nation had Demetrius Andrade, Miguel Cotto, and Andre Ward signed to their promotion. Now, the thing about it is, Demetrius Andrade, he found out that Roc Nation could owe him some money, or was supposed to give him. It wasn't anything on Al Haymon's side. It was on Roc Nation's side. They owed him some money. Demetrius Andrade found out about this, and then once he found out, he decided to pull out of the fight or whatnot. Excuse the background noise, y'all. He decided to pull out of the fight or whatnot. So Al Haymon then got pissed off at that. That pissed Al Haymon off, and virtually, from what's being told for me, Al Haymon is basically blackballing Demetrius Andrade, where basically he doesn't ever want to work with Demetrius Andrade again, not willingly at least. So Demetrius Andrade then, he tried to get a fight with Canelo, and this was a real sad situation that a lot of people don't speak on. At the time, I want to say Demetrius Andrade had the WBO or the WBA, one of those. It was in 2014. He tried hard to get a Canelo fight. They offered Canelo a chance to fight for it. It was, like I said, I think it was the WBA at that time, but it might have been the WBO. I don't know. And I think it was the WBO. Matter of fact, it was the WBO. And Canelo stated that he was not interested in fighting for that belt. He didn't want to fight for the WBO belt. He didn't care about that belt. So Demetrius, he chose to fight James Kirkland. Canelo Alvarez chose to fight James Kirkland. Which, left Demetrius Andrade asked out. Well, Demetrius Andrade was going on a long inactivity and got stripped for the belt. They then allowed Liam Smith to get the belt, and Canelo then, at the time when Demetrius Andrade got stripped, Canelo was then campaigning at Canelo weight of 155. After Demetrius Andrade got stripped and they gave the belt to Liam Smith, Canelo then moved down to 154 to fight Liam Smith for the same belt that he said he wasn't interested in. Now, here's the thing. I know that the Canelo fans they're gonna say I'm a Canelo fan. So, but anytime you you know, anytime you say anything other than Canelo's the greatest, they're gonna always call you a hater. But here's my only question to you Canelo fans. How is it hating? Because I know that's what you're gonna say. My only question is, how is it hating when it's all facts? Everything I'm saying is facts. So Canelo moved down, got the WBO belt from Liam Smith. Once Demetrius Andrade was stripped from it, and beat Liam Smith and got the WBO belt. All right. Demetrius Andrade then, you know, constantly calling out the Charlos. You know, I still really wish that we could have got that fight. At this point, he's more so pressing Jamal Charlo, not seeming interested or not interested in him at all. Not getting a fight with none of the big names. He moves up to 60. Then he signs with Eddie Hearn. At this particular time, I remember everybody was criticizing Jamal Charlo because all the middleweights are in the zone. Jamal Charlo needs to move up to middleweight to fight with these guys. The only problem was, at that time, the zone had Demetrius Andrade at 160. The zone had Demetrius Andrade, Danny Jacobs, Canelo Alvarez, Billy Joe Saunders. Let me see, Demetrius Andrade, Danny Jacobs, Canelo Alvarez, Billy Joe Saunders, and Triple G. Right? So Demetrius Andrade thought it was best. You know, he was sure, like, yeah, I'm definitely gonna get a fight now. I'm gonna get a fight with one of these top guys now, because we're all with the zone, except for Jamal Charlo. We're all with the zone. They're gonna have to fight me. These guys have to see me. Unfortunately, he couldn't get a fight with any of these guys. Triple G was another one. Demetrius Andrade adamantly called out Triple G. Jaime Maguire is another guy there. But at the time that this was going on, Jaime Maguire was still at 154. But anyways, he called out Triple G. Triple G did not want to fight with Demetrius Andrade. He called out, you know, the only guy he didn't call out actually was Danny Jacobs, due to the history that they have. I don't think that they were either one of them were really eager to fight each other. But again, you know, you got to put the friendship aside, and it's business. It's just business. I think he was willing, but he wasn't pressing it. So then, none of those fights get made. He calls out Triple G. Triple G declines. He says he's not interested, or his team said it. His team stated Triple G's not interested. Couldn't get a fight. He had the WBO belt. Canelo had every single belt, and I remember that year Canelo stated, I want to be undisputed at middleweight. Canelo then had every single belt except for the WBO belt. Now at this time, this story is this is where I got to do more research. You got to do your research as well. But Sergey Derevyanchenko did have something to do with I think they offered Demetrius Andrade a fight with Sergey Derevyanchenko, but because it was last minute, Demetrius Andrade didn't take it. Sergey Derevyanchenko, who was actually proving himself to be a good fighter, a very good fighter at that time. Demetrius Andrade didn't take it. So Canelo then chooses again not to fight Demetrius Andrade. Instead, he wants to move up to 168. Which then again leaves Demetrius Andrade asked out. Demetrius Andrade then, you know, obviously he tries to make a fight he starts pushing for a Triple G. He started pushing more towards Triple G. Triple G did not want to fight Demetrius Andrade. Demetrius Andrade then, at that particular time, Jaime Maguire had moved up and became Demetrius Andrade's mandatory. Demetrius Andrade starts calling for the Jaime Maguire fight. Jaime Maguire not interested in fighting Demetrius Andrade at all. And it's a sad situation. And for the life of me, I cannot understand why Canelo just didn't want to fight Demetrius Andrade. Like, I'm just being so honest when I say this, bro. Like, I'm not even being funny. I don't see what Demetrius Andrade could do to beat Canelo. Like, I really do not. I think Canelo will stop Demetrius Andrade. But it is something in Demetrius Andrade Canelo just does not like and does not want to fight with. Now you can say that he's not a big draw. You can say that, but I do want to say this though. At the time, from what Eddie Hearn and Demetrius Andrade said, so you got to kind of take that with how it is. Canelo would have got paid a significant amount of money to fight Demetrius Andrade. Furthermore, Canelo, you can't if Demetrius Andrade isn't the draw. Well, who the hell is Avni Yildirim? And the first, I know you're gonna say, well, that was Canelo's mandatory. Canelo had to fight him, but check this out: if Canelo could have fought Demetrius Andrade and became undisputed, all right. So you mean to tell me that he could fight a mandatory? Canelo can fight a mandatory, and that's a nobody. And that and we excuse that, but you want to miss out on an opportunity to become. He could have been a 2-time undisputed champion in 2 different weight classes. So I never understood. I just never understood for the life of me. Never understood why Canelo just was not interested in fighting Demetrius Andrade. He did not want to fight Demetrius Andrade. And then of course Demetrius Andrade calls him out. He says, "You fight nobody." But I mean, Canelo, like, that just didn't make sense to me, because it's like, bro, like, Canelo. I mean, Demetrius Andrade does have a trash resume. Obviously, he can't get any big fights. But I mean, if it's that easy, I don't understand it. Like, if he's a horrible fighter and he's that easy, bro. He's a big name. It'd definitely be good on your resume. You're already a Hall of Famer. Why not just go ahead and knock him out, take his belt? Because I promise you, I don't see how Demetrius Andrade could beat Canelo Alvarez. I do not see it. But it is something in Demetrius Andrade that Canelo Alvarez doesn't want no parts of. It's just something in there. I don't know what it is, but it's something in there. So, Demetrius Andrade, then he's forced to, he tries to call out Jaime Munguia. They don't accept that fight, as Golden Boy has not been putting none of their top fighters in with any good names lately. And so now, Demetrius Andrade, like, is campaigning at super middleweight. Now, here's the thing I will say about Demetrius. There's a guy that is now your mandatory at 160 who perceives himself to be a threat. You got to take what you can get. I can't think of the guy's name. He's a Russian guy or from the Ukraine, one of them. But perceives to be a threat, and now Demetrius Andrade is not taking that fight. To Demetrius Andrade, bro, you got to take that. You can't, bro, listen, if none of the guys will fight, man, you got to take what you can get. And this is a chance to finally get another another good name on your resume. You got to take that, man. But in all, man, Demetrius Andrade made bad business choices, layoffs, and ultimately just, couldn't get with the right people. I feel like if he was signed with PBC, he would have had a fight, but, hey, what do I know?